Hello and welcome to the 2016 season premiere of UND Sports Extra. I'm Alex Heinert, and on Tuesday nights for the next 7 months, our Midco SN team and I will be your guide to all things University of North Dakota athletics. On today's show, we'll touch on the early season success for UND volleyball, but first, we're talking Fighting Hawks football. Expectations have rarely been higher, and for good reason, as this team enters the 2016 season riding high. 3 years ago, Bubba Schweigert inherited a UND football program coming off back-to-back losing seasons for the first time since the mid-1980s. But in the short time since, the former UND defensive coordinator has turned things around, engineering a 2-win improvement in each of his first 2 campaigns in charge.
I really credit our coaching staff doing a good job with implementing the offense, defense, and special teams, but it's more about the culture too, just the guys doing the right thing day after day.
Despite going 7-4 last year, UND found themselves on the outside looking in at the FCS playoffs. That disappointment has only fueled the group to not leave their postseason fate up to the selection committee this time around.
It was tough, obviously not making it in, but we're past that point, and I think a lot of guys realize that we should have made it in, and we have the potential and ability to go out and do that.
We all have a little chip on our shoulder from what happened last year, but again, we just have to focus on what we came to do, and we're going to start fresh and play physical, play smart, and just get things done this year.
The return of 16 starters has UND poised to do just that, with All-American running back John Santiago leading the way. The 5'9" speedster from the Twin Cities exploded on the scene last year as a true freshman to lead the Big Sky in rushing and all-purpose yards.
We think John's a proven player, and we think he can get better, and that's what we love about him. He gets out here and he works hard every day to get better.
When I step on the field, I'm not going to leave any doubt for when I come off the field. I want to leave everything out there and play my heart out every time I touch the field.
There's no doubt that Santiago's the feature back, but fellow true sophomore Brady Oliveira and Wyoming transfer Oscar Neverman will both see their share of touches moving forward. Under center, Keaton Studsrud made the quarterback position his own during his sophomore season, leading UND to a 7-2 mark in games he featured in last year. Now a team captain as a junior, Studsrud's improved ability to read defenses, combined with the return of deep threat Clive Georges, possession receiver Luke Stanley, and a handful of new talent in the fold at wideout and tight end, could allow for more offensive balance in 2016.
We got to be better in the passing game, and we've got to continue to make strides in the run game, but we felt like if we're going to make a jump, it has to be in the pass game, and hopefully we can continue to do that.
The only area of offensive uncertainty for North Dakota is up front, where left tackle A.J. Stockwell is the only returning starter from a group that helped the Fighting Hawks finish 3rd in the Big Sky in rushing in 2015. After graduating 3 all-conference performers, the rate at which the new-look offensive line gels together will be a major factor in the team's success.
So far they're doing a great job. I think they've made really good improvements mentally and physically, so just with more repetition, they'll get better and better.
On defense, UND has to replace all-conference middle linebacker and current Atlanta Falcon Will Rattel. Big shoes to fill, but it's a job the team is ready to tackle together.
Losing a guy like Will Rattel is going to be huge to replace, but the guys we got coming back are pretty good players, and next guy up has got to be ready to go.
It'll be a little bit more by committee. I think we got guys that are capable. It's just a matter now of getting them out there and building some confidence through reps and watching them play.
Rattel might be gone, but 9 starters do return from a group that led the Big Sky in rush defense and finished 2nd in total yards allowed last season. Some of the names to watch for include 2015 All-Conference safety and new team captain Cole Reyes.
Cole's an important part for us. He's got some God-given talents, he's got ability, and we need to keep him on the field.
Alongside Reyes, senior Zach Arnell looks to have fully recovered from a potential career-ending ankle injury last year, and his return should shore up a secondary that struggled at times last season.
He's getting comfortable again. He had a pretty gruesome injury, so it's good to see him getting back. He looks good. I'm comfortable with him back there. It's good to have him back.
Also back in the fold are all Big Sky outside linebacker Brian Labatt, 2 corners who started a combined 19 games a year ago in Deion Harris and Tyus Carter, and a defensive line that might be the deepest of any position on the team.
There's really good competition there, and guys are doing a good job day in and day out, and we feel good about what we can put on the field in the D-line.
On special teams, junior place kicker Reed Toppenheim is back after hitting over 75% of his field goals last season, while Missouri S&T transfer Austin Dusold appears to have won the starting punting job heading into Week 1 at Stony Brook. After opening on Long Island this Thursday, UND travels to Bowling Green before hosting South Dakota in the Potato Bowl to close out non-conference play. In the Big Sky, UND avoids perennial powers Montana and Eastern Washington, but the Fighting Hawks do have to face defending conference champ Southern Utah and preseason favorite Northern Arizona. No matter the opposition, though, this is a team that's more than ready to get the season started.
We're all ready to go. Can't stop talking about it.
I'm so excited. It gets kind of old seeing green across from us, so I'm ready to see red or whatever color they are.
The community's excited, the players are excited, and I'm just ready to go.
We'll have much more on North Dakota football next as head coach Bubba Schweigert joins us when UND Sports Extra returns.
UND Sports Extra on Midco Sports Network is presented by Farmers Union Insurance.
Welcome back. We're excited to be joined again this season by the head football coach at the University of North Dakota, Bubba Schweigert. And Bubba, it's game week already. This is exciting. You made it through fall camp, maybe almost with a bit of a sigh of relief, no major injuries. How is this team feeling going into this opening game against Stony Brook?
Well, we're very excited to play this first game. And first game of the year, always excited. There's a lot of anxiety and anticipation to get out on the field and play against somebody else. And we were fortunate this fall camp. No major injuries, a few bumps and bruises, which are going to happen, but we're excited about the health of our team and looking forward to the game.
Yeah, you get to open up on Long Island Thursday night against the Colonial Athletic Association opponent. We had a chance to speak with Josh Carey, the play-by-play voice of Stony Brook, earlier this week. Here's what he had to say about what he's concerned about in this matchup coming up.
The linebackers, very young, a lot of experience, but young. And it's one of those deals where if a linebacker tries to do too much against the run game, that's when Santiago can just make a move and make you pay. And then there are still questions along the offensive front. When you look at our two deep from tackle to tackle, 10 players, 5 of them have no game action. A lot of guys are going to be thrown, pardon the pun, they're going to be thrown to the wolves. And we're going to see if they sink or swim. And if they can just at least tread water, it'll hopefully give Stony Brook a chance, especially with that great defense behind them.
You heard Josh Carey there mention that great defense. You saw that defense in action 2 seasons ago, a hard-fought 13-3 win for your team here in Grand Forks. That's a group that's going to pose some problems. What do you feel is an area where you can exploit maybe on the defensive side of the football?
Well, we don't see any real weaknesses. They have 8 returning starters, and I know he mentioned the youth of some of those starters, but experience is what really counts. And those guys have played a lot of snaps. And, the one thing we got to do is take care of the football. And we got to find ways to run the football. And obviously we want to get John in some one-on-one situations and find a crease. But that's difficult to do against this team, and that's the strength of their team. And we expect it to be a 4-quarter battle, that's for sure.
Yeah. Feels like offensively for this Stony Brook team, quarterback is a bit of maybe a weak spot. They've got a sophomore kid that threw 8 picks a season ago, only 2 touchdowns. Do you feel like getting after him is going to be a key to a victory in this one?
Well, they're very talented at the running back position, and that's what we got to do is stop the run and force it into throwing situations. Now, he has a lot of experience, and I like their quarterback. I think he's a real competitor. He can hurt you with his feet, and he's capable of throwing the football. So we've got to be ready for their entire attack, and hopefully we can get some favorable down and distance situations. That goes to the defensive advantage, and that's what we'll attempt to do.
Yeah, your quarterback, on the other hand, Keaton Studdard, coming off a very good season as a sophomore. Now this is his team as a junior. Knowing you've got him under center, a little more confidence maybe on that offensive side of the football this year?
Well, he's a leader of our football team, and we really like Keaton, the progress he's made within our program. Last year at this time he was battling for a starting spot. This year he's an established starter of our football team. We really like his mind. He can command, he can run the offense, he can execute, he throws well, he can move in the pocket, he can hurt you in the run game some. So he's a complete player, and we expect him to play very well on Thursday night.
Yeah, we talked about Stony Brook's defense a little bit. Yours is not too bad yourself. It's a really powerful unit coming back, a lot of guys returning. Just that feel of how this team is going to be able to enter this season relying on that group of guys on that defensive side of the football to get the jobs done.
Well, we think we've added some depth that should help us, especially up front. We feel like we have a number of guys we can rotate in, and at linebacker we've developed some depth, and those guys got to all be ready to go. We like to play a lot of guys because it's going to be a big challenge, and we got to play very hard and with great effort, and that's where the depth will help you. And You know, and the big challenge is to not give up big plays, and explosive plays or something that we addressed in the spring and fall camp, and we're hoping to make some progress in that area, and it's going to be important on that game night.
How big would it be to come back with the victory in that first game of the season?
It'll be huge for us. It does a lot for your confidence and really gets you off to a good start in the season. But, you know, we're going to work hard and live with the result, but obviously the expectation is to come back with a positive result.
Yeah, well, I'm excited for the trip to New York. I know you are too. Best of luck this week. We'll talk about it next week.
All right, thank you very much.
Thanks again. Bubba Schweigert, head coach, UND football. We're going to come back with a little midnight madness. That might just set the tone for UND volleyball this season. We'll talk with the coach about UND's unique start to 2016 after the break. North Dakota volleyball head coach Mark Pryor has never been afraid to challenge popular opinion. Fresh off back-to-back 20-win seasons, Pryor literally couldn't wait to start year 3, scheduling his first practice on the first day and the first minute the NCAA would allow. Our producer Darren Lean was there in the Betty to capture all the sights and sounds of practice number 1.
We want to do something that no team ever has, so why not start the season doing something that no one's ever done?
It's kind of cool to be here early. Nobody's here, nobody's awake. We have the opportunity to start now, and at the end of the season, if we end up where we'd like to, it's kind of like, hey, that's why we ended up here, is we started right away.
I want you to think about this. If we want to be the last team standing in the Big Sky, we got to be willing to be first. First in the gym. First to recognize that maybe there's some parts of our game that we've got to get better at. Being first and recognizing if there's team conflict and trying to resolve that as quickly as possible. Being first to understand what value can I bring to the team. Being first to understand that I might not like my role and I might not want to accept my role, and I'm going to work as hard as I can to change that to have a greater role. But what I'm not going to do is be disruptive. And I'm going to do whatever I can to add value. Being first at recognizing what we have to do every day in the gym to give us an opportunity to be the last team standing. I can tell you, I've been waiting for this since the end of November. Some of you guys, I think, know that last year finished with a bad taste in our mouth, that we left a couple W's out there. We're going to get them back this year. There's no reason this group cannot win our league and host a conference tournament here. There's no reason that we can't do that. Let's have a real good first practice.
All right, we welcome back into the studio now UND head coach Mark Pryor. And Mark, that was fun, a little unconventional to start the season at 12:01. What gave you the idea to give that a shot this season, and how do you think it went?
Well, you know, I remember growing up, we lived in Kentucky for a while. I remember Midnight Madness with basketball, and it was just a great event. And it was a great practice. We got work done, and it wasn't one of those with a lot of yawning. There was stuff going on.
Well, we're just getting started with Coach Pryor. Back in a moment to get his thoughts on the opening weekend for UND volleyball. Coming up next. Back now with head volleyball coach for the University of North Dakota, Mark Pryor. And Mark, you come into this season With some big names missing, no Mackenzie Hart, the NCAA leader in digs from last season. Lauren Clark not there anymore as well in that back row. But you still bring in a lot of fresh faces, 9 new players to the program, including 5 transfers. You're still picked to finish 3rd in the Big Sky. Why do you think the rest of this league feels this team has what it takes to be in that top third of the league?
Well, I think that what they realize is that last year was a bit of an anomaly for us. We had some injuries toward down the stretch. If you look at the team that won our division, we beat them twice. Yep. So it's one of those things that I think they realize we've got a good setter. We've got 2 great middles back, and we had some really good role players. And then some of the kids we're bringing in, they're just good. Makes it a little easier.
Yeah, the first chance to see how those expectations would play out came up this weekend, the UND Classic, the 7th annual home tournament for this team. They started off against Omaha, and Coach, for you guys, a great atmosphere inside the Betty to kick things off, over 2,000 people. Maybe a few nerves early in this game, but as we go to the highlights, you see leaning on the experience of someone like Faith Dooley to step up big early.
Absolutely. It's one of those things that once the kids kind of calm down and, you know, we're like, hey, everyone here is cheering for you, not against you, it got really fun. We definitely leaned on Faith, leaned on Chelsea and Sydney's experience early as some of the younger kids started to get a chance to really be comfortable in their setting.
See sophomore Jordan Vale right there, a Baylor transfer, stepping up with the big block. 7 blocks for your squad compared to just 2 for Omaha in this match. Tamara Mercelli, another new face on this team, a big day leading the team with 10 kills.
Yeah, Tamara, don't sleep on her. She's pretty solid. She can play in the front row and back row, and she's just she's got a great will that really kind of drives the team. It's fun to have her involved.
You locked up that first set 25-17. You take set 2 25-12. You maybe took your foot off the gas just a little bit in set 3, but still a pretty comfortable win for this squad. Another kill there for Dooley to finish off this match. Not a bad way to start the year, 3-0, Mark.
No, it was a good start, and we got some kids in. I think that's important, and it was just a fun environment to start the season off.
You talk about that environment, 2,056 people, the official attendance. Not a bad way to start for Olivia Frazee, a redshirt freshman featuring in her first match. Here's what she had to say about that atmosphere.
We came out here and our eyes were just huge because we didn't think that there's this many people, but you know, it was a great atmosphere to come into our first game, and we couldn't be happier with the crowd. They're such great supporters.
Good stuff there from a kid from Fargo, a local kid. What does it mean to your program, Mark, to draw crowds like that, get people exposed to your program?
Well, Friday night, we were in the top 10 of all Division I in attendance. That's pretty special. You know, when you're talking about, you know, really massive programs like Hawaii and then all of a sudden North Dakota. That's really solid for us. And it's great that we've got such support from the campus and from the community. Then it's up to us to do our part to put on a good show and really keep them involved and have them enjoy it.
Yeah, you certainly did so Friday and through the weekend. Absolutely. On Saturday, a couple of big matches, maybe a little higher caliber opposition in Ole Miss to start things off. And let's take a look at those highlights against the Rebels. A tremendous battle with this squad. A couple of very close losses over those first 2 sets. You come back, though, in the 3rd set. And Chelsea Mosier, a fantastic weekend. 15 kills in this match. 0 hitting errors for your lone senior.
Well, it's one of those things that Chelsea's been doing this for so long that, you know, our conversations about, hey, let's try this, it's very much just, you know, give this a shot. You think this will work? Yeah, it sounds good to me. So she just is a good calming influence. She knows what she does well, doesn't try to do too much, and that allows her to play clean the entire time.
Yeah, Sid Griffith there with an assist. Tamara Mercelli here with the winner on set points. You take set 3. You take set 4 as well. I think 25-23, 25-22. You push it to a 5th. Ole Miss came out pretty strong. Kate Gibson setting a single match program record for Ole Miss with 27 kills in this one. They were up 8-4 at the turn, but you fight your way back, end up getting a match point. It didn't quite go your way, a dump serve into the net. But just to be in that position for this team, to nearly take down Ole Miss, you end up falling 17-15 in the 5th. I know you said no moral victories,
right,
but still got to feel good about how the way the team came up in the end.
I am pleased with absolutely everything but the outcome. We out-hit them, we out-blocked them, and it wasn't even close. So for us, if we're out blocking an SEC team 13-6 and we're out hitting them by 60 points, then that means that we've got the right kids on offense for us to do some damage to folks, and that's exciting. So we just got to finish it off and get a chance.
After Ole Miss, UC Davis, just a quick turnaround, only 4 hours between matches on Saturday in this UND Classic tournament. a Davis team out of the Big West. And off the bat, it looked like you responded pretty well. More of the same. The girls fighting hard in this first set.
We did a really good job. I really knew early on that we weren't on empty, but we were on fumes. And I didn't sub a whole heck of a lot in that 5-set match previously. I think more of this loss is not on the girls. I think it's on the guy that scheduled it, and that's me. I probably could have spaced those matches out a little more, but they ended up kind of stealing that first one, stealing that second one, and we knew that there wasn't a whole lot left come that third set, and that made it really difficult for us. But they're picked 4th in their league. It's a good league. I think we did some good things, and if we're a rested team, I think it's a little better turnout for us.
Lost that 1 in 3 in the end, 25-23 on the first set, and they kind of took it to you a little bit over the following 2. But with that opening weekends now in the books, looking ahead, you have a big matchup coming up live on Midco Ascent against the University of South Dakota on Tuesday. 2 more games at the weekends. Best of luck this whole week. Mark, we'll see you back here to talk about it next Tuesday.
Great, thank you.
Awesome, thanks again. Back in a moment to wrap things up here on UND Sports Extra.
UND Sports Extra on Midco Sports Network is presented by Farmers Union Insurance.
Welcome back. As mentioned earlier, UND volleyball back in action tonight, live at 7 p.m. as the University of North Dakota travels south to take on USD, and helping the Coyotes open their new volleyball and basketball arena, the Sanford Coyotes Sports Center. Jay Elson and Kelly Stewart will have the call, so be sure to stay tuned for that coming up at the top of the hour. That's our time for this week. We'll be back next week, though, for another edition of UND Sports Extra. Until then, I'm Alex Seinert. Thanks for watching.